Thanks. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Let me pick up where Craig left off. As he said, we met with Syed Javid 10 days ago. To entirely properly, on the record, with civil servants present, to discuss the way forward. You need to be clear that Syed Javid is not the person who will make the decision in relation to the development consent order. So there is absolutely nothing improper in that meeting. Others will try, probably, and say that there was. Syed has indicated to us very clearly that although, yes, there was a March the 31st deadline, in practice, because there are not just Thanet, but a number of other councils involved, and because processes have to be put in place, it is a racing certainty that no action will be taken prior to the summer recess, late June, early July. That gives us the breathing space that we knew previously existed. But we have to get on with it. We need a local plan, and we need a local plan without the redesignation of Manston. And that is the message that the UKIP group, part of the UKIP group on the council, and the Conservative group sent to the leader of the council. Under those circumstances, I believe that any honourable man, having nailed his colours to that policy, would have resigned. Well, it didn't happen. So we now are where we are, and the Reverend Piper and his group, and Councillor Playford and his group, have to get together in some form to take this forward in the local interest. This should not be about party politics, this should be about the future of the people of Thanet and what the people of Thanet want and need in terms of their local plan. There is time, it is achievable, it can be done. Officers have to be instructed to get on and make it happen, and it will work. I'm going to get this right now, the RPS report, there's a confusion. There's the River Oaks Strategic Partnership, and then there's the RPS group, which is the group that the consultants that produce the housing report, independently of River Oaks. That demonstrates absolutely clearly that without Manston Airport, there is 105% of the land needed for housing available in the area. And I actually believe that if we are creative and sensible about this, we can probably not only not need to use Manston for housing, but we can probably preserve some Grade 1 agricultural land as well. And that would be a huge bonus. I have to be clear what's happened. Some sites that are available for housing have been omitted from the local plan to generate a need to use Manston. I just want you to think about this, because not enough of this has emerged. What this actually means is that there is a body of opinion that believes that not only is it in the national interest to sacrifice a unique facility, Manston, that we are going to need post-Brexit for freight and passenger services, but that also it is perfectly in order to smother that site, which is huge, in tarmac, in one form or another, whether it's people's drives and front gardens, whether it's houses, whether it's industrial use, smack on top of Thanet's aquifer, which will destroy the water supply for the whole of this part of East Kent. And I find it incredible that there is a local authority, that there are officers, that there are councillors that are prepared to countenance that desperate possibility. That is the alternative that we're being faced with. So this is not just, from my point of view, a fight for something, it's also a fight against something. I've noticed in the past few days that people have written to me, and understandably, my constituents living under the flight path in Herne Bay, whose concerns, of course, I have to address. and those living under the flight path in Ramsgate have been writing in saying, you are going to ruin the environment, with no thought whatsoever to the ruination of the environment that would be caused by the destruction of Thanet's water supply and all the other things that would go with a housing estate and an industrial estate. I've said before, I believe that this is in the national interest. And I mean it. This is bigger than just the local interest, although there is a massive opportunity, in my view, for job creation and for the preservation of vast areas of open space, because at the end of the day, most of an airport is open space. And I also think that if we are creative and if we get our skates on, we can get a local plan that will make adequate provision for the housing needs of East Kent for the foreseeable future, and that we can do all of that in time to meet the Secretary of State's requirements. But there is a prerequisite, and that is that our councillors, all of them, the Conservative group and the Reverend Piper's group, bury their differences, work together, take control in the interests of the people of Thanet, whether that is by a confidence and supply arrangement, whether it is by a coalition, whether it is by some looser form of voluntary cooperation. It has got to be done. And if it isn't done, then I do not believe that the people of Thanet will forgive either group for failing to take the reins when so clearly the reins have to be taken. We've got to get on with it.
Yes, yes.
And finally, we are very near at the starting gate. I know some of you think this has been going on for rather a long time. It actually began. But believe me, so do I. But as somebody once said, this is just the end of the beginning. There is a huge amount of work to be done that River Oak is going to have to do, that we are all going to have to do, to make the case in the national and local interest. Once the DCO application goes in, and I hope and believe that will be in the middle of March, we then have to start work. So if you thought this was almost game, set and match, forget it. We have a great deal of work to do. We're going to do it together, and we are going to win in the national interest. Thank you.